capacitance is 20 nanofarad. The biggest mistakes I see students make: getting parallel and series backwards, forgetting to flip the fraction at the very end when you do series last, and then, or treating these like they're in series or those like they're in series, even though there's a junction in between. And just as a sneak preview, when we get to resistors, the rules for resistors in series and parallel are the opposite. So confusing capacitors and resistors. All right. Let's do one more like similar, in a similar vein, and then I'll do a more complicated problem, and then we'll talk about quizzes, tests, and neat stuff like that. What is the equivalent capacitance? Fractions here. Yes. You reduced it, you did not. Sorry. Parallels to do that one first. Then that's also parallels to do that one. And then you'll have a series. I sometimes get students who want to know which one do you do first. Well, you do whichever one you can. Whether it's series or parallel. Sometimes you got series here and parallel here, and you do those, and then just start whittling it down. So that one would be 6 farads. That one is 9 farads. And now 1/6 plus 1/9. It's 1/CQ. So you end up with 3.6 farads, or 54/15 farads, or 18/5 farads. Now, I know in math class I've heard various people in the past, if you can get it in fractions, you leave it in fractions because the fractions are more accurate because you're not rounding. But in physics, any number I put up on the board, even if we're talking about something in a lab, it's rounded off at some point. So everything is rounded. So decimal is fine. All right, questions before I give a more complicated one?
Are we ever going to have a capacitance where we solve it this way? That's are we ever going to have a capacitance that's less than 1? Because the first time that I did it wrong, and it was like less than 1. So is that a way we can like fact check ourselves?
Nope.
Okay.
The equivalent capacitance is a half a farad. In reality, most capacitors we would deal with will be less than 1. They'll be microfarads or nanofarads. So yeah, there's nothing sacred about 1. All right, so the more complicated one. We'll make that 1 farad, 2 farads, 3 farads, and 4 farads. What is the equivalent capacitance?
I assume there's a wire that comes off of this at some point.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's why this one's more complicated. We could come up with several different answers here, depending upon how the wires are. Because if I have this setup right here, and I take my capacitor meter, take the digital multimeter set on capacitance, I'm going to get a different answer if I put the probes here, 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 or on the diagonals. In the lab that I'm planning for you to do on Wednesday, where I'm asking you to take a certain number of capacitors and create a capacitance within a certain range. The number of times I've gotten things like this as the answer, and I'm going, I have no idea if that's right or not, because I have no idea where the probes are going. On a problem like this, you have to specify where the probes go. And it's not like you have to actually draw probes. All you have to do is just draw a wire coming off of it, or wherever the wires go. Just like over here, this is one of the reasons why I have these things stuck out at the ends. That's basically saying that's where I'm sticking the probes. Now on a test, I have given things like this, and I said, where do you put the probes to get the most capacitance, and where do you put them to get the least capacitance? And then it's just a matter of, well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 choices. Worst case scenario is you run through all 6 of them. So let's do it. What the heck? So we'll start out with this one isolated. So if I put it like this, which would I do first?
Maybe the series between the 1, 4, and 3 farad?
Yep. Because those are definitely in series, and I have a junction here and a junction here. So those are series, I have no junction in between them if I go around the iPad. So 1 over 1 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 3. So 19 twelfths. So this would then reduce to, got 2 here and 12 19ths. Now what?
It's in parallel because there's a junction.
Okay?
So you would just add the 2 and the 12 19ths.
Yeah. So 2 and 12 19ths.
24 19ths.
Was that?
24 19ths.
You fans of fractions. So 2.632 farads. Oh, that's right. No. I messed up the first math. That's what I get for doing it in my head. 12 is the common denominator, so I have 12 plus 3 plus 4. That's 19, isn't it? So 4, 3, 4. Oh. It was not acknowledging one of the buttons I hit. Okay, try that again. 3. Yeah, okay. Apparently my fraction adding skill is better than my calculator skills just then. All right, so that's 2.632 farads. Let's go for the next one. So if I did the probes on this side, so I've got the 1 here, 4, 3, and 2. So first do the series here. And I end up with 1.923 farads in the end. If I do the probes around the 4, we're going to end up with something bigger or smaller.
Bigger?
Why?
Because the 4 farads, once you add whatever fraction you get, once you add the 4 farads, that's going to add a lot of capacitance.
If I add these 3 up, I'm going to get something always less than the smallest. So I'm going to end up with something less than 1 from these 3 when I add them in series, but that, as Brooke was saying, that 4 is going to add a lot to it. So I'm going to get 4 point something in the end. And someone's going to tell me what that is. And this looks to give me something between 3 and 4. Someone's at some point going to just shout out what it is.
Well, it would be 4 plus 1 over 1.8333.
Which is?
I don't know, I was sticking with the decimals to tease you.
You said 4 plus 1 over
Yeah.
0.83333? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
5.2.
No.
I've got
It should-
4.12. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
0.8333 or just 333?
I don't remember.
The 1.83333 take the reciprocal of that to get the equivalent capacitance.
I think I have the wrong numbers entirely. I'm just gonna do it properly.
Properly. Fraction?
Yeah.
Zach, do you have any of them yet?
Yeah, 4.55.
Alright, so hopefully we'll get confirmation of that.
Yep, I got the same number.
Alright, and then one of the others. No.
For the one where the probes stick into the 3 farads,
Yep,
I got 3.57.
3.57? Yep.
For the ones in the diagonal, are they just series? Like there's no parallel because there's no projection?
Well, these are in series.
Right.
These are in series. And then whatever you get for those two are in
Oh,
parallel.
they're okay.
For the one with the diagonal at this angle, the other one, I have 2.38 farads.
I think the other one's 2.
I assume TWO, not TOO.
Right.
All right. So just a quick run through of a type of problem that I've done in the past. I know I did something like this with resistors. If you don't have these, then I recommend trying it at home and seeing if you get it on Friday or even Wednesday task. Now, the other type of problem that I give, and there's going to be one in the master set for it, is I give you, 3 or 4 or 5 capacitors, and I say I want you to come up with something with an equivalent capacitance of such and such, or as close as possible to get. And then it's just a matter of manipulating. Recognize if I add in series, I'm going to reduce my capacitance. If I add in parallel, I'm going to increase my capacitance. And so that's generally the way that those go. But there's really not much else with this other than you're just getting comfortable playing and manipulating it. So on that note, any questions before we talk about quizzes, tests, stuff like that? All right, so today is the 14th. So we got master set, we've got the quiz on chapter 19, and then test. quiz on Friday? How's that sound? The homework quiz.
This Friday?
Yeah. I mean, I can push stuff off till the next week, but there was one semester, you know, the things I do because of one time. I pushed off the first test far enough that we actually finished all the material for the second test before we actually took the first test.
I like when the quiz and master set aren't on the same
Yeah.
day.
All right.
So I'm fine with the quiz being Friday if the master sets due another day.
Oh, you like them to do on different days?
Different days. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
sorry.
what-
My brain went elsewhere. So I'm thinking quiz Friday, master set the following Monday, the 21st, and then the test the 23rd.
Is that next Wednesday then?
Yes, a week in 2 days. Any counter proposals before I write this down in ink?
So we're not gonna have a lab next Wednesday.
Right, Wednesday of next week, right.
Would there be any possible way I'd be allowed to take the quiz a day early? I don't know whether I can be here on Friday. It is still up in the air, but that is looking like a possibility.
Yes, there is a way. We'll talk afterwards. All right, so 152, homework quiz 19 on Friday, master set 19 on Monday, and then 152 test 1A on Wednesday the 23rd. Let me write this down for the world to see. So 2/18 Friday. Homework quiz 19. So those who have forgotten, I'm going to take 2 of the assigned homework problems from chapter 19, change the numbers, present it back to you as a quiz.
Oh, quick question. Do we have class on Monday since it's, I think, technically a federal holiday?
I think we do. I did not write it down, and I think I put it in. Or I checked to see if spring break. Yep, I have spring break written down, so I think that we do have class on Monday.
Wait, your spring break just